Welcome to the Beef Lab. I'm your host, Coach Joe Strong, here at the Mecca of Strength and Conditioning, Varsity House Gym. The Beef Lab is an inside look at everything it takes to run a world-class training facility. This is the source for strength entrepreneurs who want to learn more about programming, training athletes, business development, and marketing their brand. We're going to show you how we took Varsity House from a dingy little garage gym to a world-class brand. Coach Joe here from Varsity House Gym. Welcome to the next episode of the Beef Lab. This is the continuation of last week's podcast where we talked about speed and some of the physiological components of speed. And this week we're going to add the actual strength and conditioning and in the gym components to that process. Okay, I'm here with my training partner and understudy, Mike Riley, NFL prospect, and he's going to be demonstrating a bunch of the drills that we do here at the gym. Remember, speed is relative to the sport and what you're trying to get out of it. Like a track athlete, 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter track athlete has different requirements for speed than a field sport football player, soccer player, tennis player, and those types of things. In most of the field sports and sprint-dominated short distance sports like volleyball and tennis, explosive power and starting power and speed are really the most important things. So that's what we focused on here mostly in the gym is explosive starting power and change of direction, and that requires a lot of physical body strength. So like we talked about last week, the most important component of speed is strength. So what are some of my top strength exercises? Remember, when you're talking speed, we're talking posterior chain, and I'm trying to really strengthen everything from the back of the body to everything that propels my body down. So we're talking, the lower back, the glutes, the hamstrings, and the muscles that really explode and propel when we run, right? Especially think about a football player coming off the line and exploding those hips and driving those hips. So the exercises that are critical to that, I believe, are the box squat, a sumo deadlift, and deadlift variations, okay? And glute ham raises and other various forms of specific hamstring work like RDLs, hamstring curls, okay, sled walking and things like that. But we're going to start with the box squat today. We like to set it up with some bands. We don't always use bands. We use chains. We use straight weight. Mike's an advanced athlete, been training for a lot of years, so he can work the band action. Some people, if you're new, that'll make you very sore, so you got to start in straight weight for months or years, and then chains, and then from there to bands for the more advanced lifters. What the bands do is they increase the eccentric load and therefore increase the amount of kinetic energy that your muscles are storing. The idea is to sit fast and controlled and then explode out of it, and as those muscles load up, you're in a sense overloading the proprioceptive mechanisms and telling them super high, super heavy, super fast, and then boom, explosion, right? So for every action, you have an equal and opposite reaction. So the faster and harder you can sit and the more eccentric kinetic energy you can develop, the more concentric explosion that you will have. So this is a very lightweight for Mike. We're not using a weight. He would normally use probably 225 plus the bands for explosive sets of 10 reps or so, but he's just going to demonstrate a couple reps here, what it should look like. I want fast on the way down, and I want faster on the way up, nice and explosive. All right, Mike, just hit like 3 reps or so. Right. Try. Good, good. Sit back, good, sit back, drive, good. That's it, okay? So the idea there is to sit with a good rate of speed, okay, and then fire off the box. Now, I would have liked to have seen Mike control his core a little bit better and sit fast and then control the bottom position a little bit better, okay? What you don't want to do is you don't want to get into the habit of bang and rebounding off the box. That's definitely not, he wasn't doing that, but that's definitely something you don't want to do. So remember, the box squat, as you get more flexible and more able, I can squat a little wider, and the wider I go, right? I'm not going to squat like a power lifter with my athletes, but I'm going to squat relatively wide and that's going to work a lot more hamstring action and hamstring development. So as you start inside, and as you get more flexible, you can work it out and work it out and work it out until you get the hip flexibility and mobility that you need to squat a little wider and engage those hamstrings. Remember, I want to push the ground away from me, not just push with my quads. I'm trying to power off the box with my hamstrings, so that's a critical component there. All right, our next exercise is a sumo deadlift. Now, regular deadlifts are great too, and there's nothing wrong with switching and rotating between conventional deadlifts, hex bar deadlifts, trap bar deadlifts, and sumo. But if we're talking specifically for speed, and Mike could definitely attest to this, the sumo deadlift, he feels like it hits your hamstrings a lot more. You get a lot more push and squeeze with your hamstrings. And when we're talking speed, we should be talking posterior chain. So anything that you can do to increase the strength and power output of your posterior chain, I'm all for that. So the sumo deadlift is great. You're going to set up wide, okay? And Mike, I'll show you, I'll talk him through it. As Mike sets up, you can come in and set up, Mike. All right, he's going to set up wide with his shins. Again, it depends on your flexibility. Mike's pretty flexible and has gotten himself a lot more flexible in the last couple of years. But if you're not flexible, you just bring it in a little bit and you're still getting into that, nice deep squat position. As you get more flexible, you can get those legs out wider and you just kind of turn your toes out a little bit more, right? And really focus on squeezing your hamstrings and squeezing through the movement. So Mike's going to take his grip inside the legs, right? Head up, chest up, nice tight core, and he's going to push through his hips, right? And that's it, and just bring the bar up and in, sit back, drive your hips into the bar, good, push through, one more, right? Good, up, good, that's it, good, that's it. And really think about creating the movement with your hamstrings and not just driving your legs. A lot of people get in the habit of just driving with their quads and not squeezing with their glutes and hamstrings, and that's a big mistake, especially in the weight room when training, right? All right, guys, the next exercise is a glute ham raise. Now, these exercises that I'm showing you, we're not reinventing the wheel here, but I think that, there's always a misconception about speed work, like I need to just go out and run more. So generally speaking, when I get athletes in the gym, because they're already running a lot, they're already playing tons of sports, so the problem's not the amount of running, the problem's that they don't have the strength to overcome the force of gravity and their body weight. Getting stronger will make you more explosive and allow you to move your body better through space. So this exercise is a killer hamstring exercise, and it takes a little bit of time to master and get it done right, until you get the hamstring strength. So there's a couple different variations that I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to have Mike kind of spot me, and you could do like a negative, and I'll show you. I'll come down slow. You push me up, like as if I was unable to complete the reps myself. You know what I mean? And so you could get kids in here. You can get younger athletes or even bigger athletes who are heavier up top have a tough time with this exercise, and they can do the eccentric portion and hold those hamstrings nice and tight, and then a spotter will help push them up. You can do them with bands, we do them with chains, we do them holding plates behind our heads, and there's a ton of variations to these. As you get stronger, you can add more resistance to it and do more. We even sometimes pop the back of it up on a block and tilt the machine down this way. Makes it incredibly hard, and so on and so forth. There's a literally endless amount of variations. So, all right, first thing you want to do is your setup, right? Your setup, your knees got to be on the pad, right? You got to be on the pad. You can't be way back here. You have to flex your toes onto the toe board. Make sure your knees are on the pad. Make sure your toes can touch the pad. And I generally want my shin to be, almost parallel to the floor. So the backrest should not be too high or too low. Right in the middle, just a nice comfortable position. I'm going to put both feet in. I'm going to make sure I'm flexing my toes. I'm going to prop myself up on the barrel, right? I'm going to keep my core nice and tight, and I'm going to extend myself out, right? And then when I pull, I'm not trying to, I can whip. There are variations where you're going to whip your back, and if you're weaker, you can do that, but I just want to pull, right, and squeeze my hips back in one shot, okay? Keeping my toes on the toe board. So nice tight core, head up, chest up, fold and pull, right? Nice and in a controlled fashion, right? Nice and explosive. Now if I was no good at these, right, like Mike, you can spot me. If I had a tough time with these, right, what you could do is I'll squeeze, and hold that negative, right? And then Mike can push me back up as I might not have the power. The key is for those kids is making sure that they're not, doing this, and they're not breaking at the hips. So I see a lot of this sometimes, right? And you want to make sure that you keep your core tight, keep your hips in position, right? pull with your hamstrings. You get good at these, you get to a point where you can do 10 by 10 on these. You get some strong ass hamstrings, and that's absolutely going to improve your speed, power, and explosiveness. And it's definitely going to translate to all your other lifts too. So getting better at these will give you a better deadlift, give you a better squat, and just overall make you a better athlete. All right, guys, after we've gotten a little stronger and spent some time in the weight room hitting the weights, you have to translate some of that new strength to power. Remember that if you just lift heavy and slow all the time, you're kind of going to be heavy and slow. So as you're getting stronger and lifting heavy and pushing the weights up, you need to also be working on your explosive power generation. So you want to make sure that you're incorporating some jumps, some throws, and some explosive movements, as well as sprinting in your program, right? Sprinting, throwing, and jumping are really the three best ways to elicit a ton of power output and explosive. Take that strength that you gain from up in your box squat, deadlift, and glute ham raise, and now translating it to the field and making it really explosive. So Mike's just going to demonstrate a couple throws. The two most popular ones that we do here are an anterior chest pass and then a posterior bomb throw. So the anterior chest pass is really simple. He's just going to pick the weight up to his chest. He's going to hold it up nice and high. He's going to load up real hard, and he's going to drive his legs and body and throw it out as hard as he can. Drive. That's it. Good. So again, I'm just looking to try it fast twitch, fast twist, fast twitch. Load those muscles quick and fire it out as hard as you can. Now, here we can't like dive out, but the best way to do these is if you got like a big mat and you can literally sell out and throw your whole body into it and dive out on the mat, right? That's really an awesome way to get your whole body into a movement and just generate a ton of power. Okay? The next throw is a bomb throw, an overhead throw. This is like some people call these scoop tosses, but we call them a bomb throw. And this is a posterior. This is awesome. This is triple extension at its best. So when you think about explosive power cleans and kettlebell swings and even the box squats and deadlifts, that hip extension that you're getting on those, that's slow and heavy. Here is the explosive version that we like to do with our athletes. And here Mike's just going to stand on top of the med ball. And he's going to start standing nice and tall, and he's going to grip and rip that ball as quick and as hard as he can. Hit it, Mike. Hup. That's it. Good. And see how he just throws his whole body into it? Okay? Use those hips. Power it out. Explode through the hips. Squeezing those glutes. Squeezing those hamstrings. Just like a deadlift. Just like a box squat. Okay? Great exercise. We'll do, could be, usually we do like 8 to 10 sets of 2. Something like that. We'll do 1 chest pass, 1 bomb throw, break. 1 chest pass, 1 bomb throw, break. Something like that. Okay? The next exercise Mike's going to do is just I'll give you back the ball, is a weighted split squat jump. Okay, and the weighted split squat jump is another one of our single leg exercises. We kind of break down, our jumps into rhythm and all out power. Rhythm is like repetitive jumps that are consecutive over and over and over again, like on the 2 I'm going to show you right now. And then an all-out jump is an all-out jump. That's either that's a box jump or something that's for maximum explosiveness, right? And that you're taking a lot more rest. So a rhythm jump, like a weighted split squat jump. Mike's just going to do 10 split squat jumps in a row. Go ahead, hit it, Mike. Okay, right. And this is just for quick power, athletic power, over and over and over again, right? Sometimes we'll do 20, sometimes we'll do 15. It really depends on where we're at in the training program, right? And this is to really build up a lot of muscle elasticity to be able to repeat explosive efforts over and over and over again. Okay? The other rhythm drill we do a lot is just a squat jump. So we can do these weighted. Sometimes we do them with no weight. Again, it depends on the athlete and where we're at in the training program. Mike's going to just show you the weighted version. He's just going to hold that med ball and up and down for 5 reps. Right? Nice and quick, and it's explosive. Right? Trying to get the hips through at the top, lots of power. Okay? And we'll repeat those reps. I'm trying to build up repetitive speed, power, endurance, okay? It's great if you can just do 1 all-out bomb throw or 1 all-out chest pass, but I need athletes to be able to play for 3 hours, and they need to be able to repeat explosive efforts over and over and over again. So again, if I'm working this as a training program, I would probably start with my movement prep and my sprint agility drills. Then I would go to my power drills. And then I would strength train if I had to do it all in one day. We have the opportunity here to strength train and do speed and power work on separate days. So we'll do strength training 2 to 3 times a week, and then power speed work twice a week, depending on the athletes and where they're training. Okay? All right, guys, so the next exercise in our power development portion of this video is just the box jump. Now, there's a ton of variations here, and we either do them standing, we either do them seated, okay, like we were going to do today, or we do them with ankle weights, or a combination of weighted, okay? So I'm either working on max height, okay, and explosiveness for max height, or I'm working on a standard height for max weight. So this is a light box today, and we're just going to do a demonstration so Mike can show you a seated box jump. But I might be working on a box maybe even a little bit lower, and I'm telling him, hey, every set you got to add 10 pounds. So it's a 10-pound vest, a 20-pound vest, a 30-pound vest, 40-pound vest, right, until he begins to fail. And that's for maximum power and explosive power output. But when I'm looking for pure speed, I want the height, right? I want to be quick. I want to be explosive. I'm going for height. And Mike's best height is a 55-inch box, 55-inch box. You know, at 6'2", 200, at the time you were almost 260, like close to 260. At 6'2", 260, 55-inch box is, you know, right about that high. So, you know, that's a pretty serious box jump for a football player, you know what I mean, for a non-track athlete, you know, a non-jumper especially. You know, it's not like you're a high jumper or a broad jumper. So, so it really just comes down to, you know, strength versus body weight, power to strength ratio. You know, how much strength does he have to overcome his body weight? So Mike's just going to demonstrate. We do these two ways. We either do it in a consistent motion, in and out, right, which he's going to show you, and then we do it with a pause where you stop your momentum completely. So, and it's just another variation. You can do them either way. They're both great. So he's going to show you the continuous movement. It's going to be nice and quick. Load up, fire. That's it, nice and easy, okay? Piece of cake. All right, and now I'll show you the other variation with a pause, and that's just coming to a dead stop. Load up, fire. That's it, good. So it's almost the same thing, but now I'm cutting out some of the momentum, and I'm lessening the rock. So what you'll see a lot of the times with athletes, they get nervous. I'm going too high, I'm trying to go too high, and no, like lay back and the feet come off the ground, and they try and get this like excessive lean. That's no good. You're really just using a lot of momentum. So I want athletes to sit and fire, kind of like they're doing a box jump, and almost the same idea, where I want to sit with control and power, right? Keep that core really tight, and then boom, hit it hard and fire out, okay? Standing box jump is basically the same thing. Mike, I'm just gonna pull this out of the way. You can jump on there once for me. And standing box jump is exactly what it sounds like it is. So he's just gonna stand and then fire out into the box, okay? Nice and explosive. Hup. Good, okay? So we'll do variations of those, like I said, either weighted or sometimes reactive. Reactive might be coming down off another box, right, where I'll jump down off a box. Why don't we just show them that one too? So here, since we're here, set that up. So reactive jump is a preloaded jump. So the idea again behind this is that as his body hits the ground, his proprioception and you know, CNS is calculating the amount of muscular tension required to accommodate that force. And it's like an overload, right? So I'm overloading the nervous system, and then bang, I'm hoping that I can load up, get that preload, and get a more forceful explosion. I've seen some PRs. Some guys are really reactive and have really activated their nervous system really well, and they'll hit their best jumps doing them this way, doing a reactive jump. So a guy like Mike, who's did a standing box jump at 55 inches, you know, if he worked on this for a little bit, almost always you'll see a positive response from the reactive jump, because you get more nervous system activation from the preload than you do just coming off the ground, right? So again, this is like, it's a smooth drop off. You want to hit the ground smooth and load and fire. That's it, nice and explosive. Off the ground, fire it out, load those muscles up, power off the ground as hard as you can, and be explosive. So those are three great variations of the box jump. Again, you can mix and match. I generally recommend that an athlete who's, you know, been training for a little bit, but I wouldn't call him an elite level athlete, is getting about 30 touches, 30 jumps, you know, a week, and then, you know, bumping that up every 2 to 3 weeks, you know, 40, 50, 60, and like I have athletes now who are getting 60 touches twice a week, you know, getting 120 touches a week. We do one day of a lot of rhythm jumps and touches, like the split squat and the weighted squat jump, and then one day where we're working on maximum power output on the boxes like this, right? You could also set them up in a series where you got 2 or 3 boxes going up and down, but we try to minimize that because the depth dropping onto the ground, even on the turf where we got a little bit of cushioning, beats up your body pretty good. So you can get a big guy like Mike who's, right now running around 250 pounds, and just that pounding on your body, hitting your ankles and stuff. And some of the guys we have here are over 300 pounds, and landing on the ground puts a tremendous amount of energy, into the bones and ligaments and stuff like that. So especially preseason, we try to minimize those. And on that note too, I should say that, one of the things, like the glute ham raises are a phenomenal way to improve speed throughout the year. However, if you are in season and you are running a lot, I don't recommend doing too many of those because they will make your hamstrings very sore and tight. And then if you're striding and running for speed and distance, you might, tweak your hammies a little bit. We generally switch to exercises that are more lengthening in nature, like the RDLs, like a 45-degree hyper, or even a weighted glute bridge, which is a phenomenal accessory exercise, or maybe even just some sled pulling. Sled pulling is probably the most underutilized and underrated exercise there is for strength, and we try to do it as much as we can here. And so like a cool down finisher, we do a lot. Dan's doing it right now, is just pulling the sled around for 10, 15 minutes and really getting some blood flow in those hammies and working those hammies upright, right, and stepping out and pulling with your hamstrings. So that's some accessory exercises. And now we're going to just show you a couple complexes that we do here all the time in the gym. These are my favorite. I'm going to show you my 5 favorite complexes for building speed and power. All right, guys, so our first complex is the speed box squat to standing box jump. We do this a lot on our speed power days. So, one day we're lifting for heavy, for strength and max weight, and one day we're lifting for explosive power. Now, maybe in a powerlifting gym like a Westside Barbell, they're specifically doing like a dynamic squat day. We like to jump as well. So a lot of what we're doing here will be a complex. So he's going to hit a set of 2. We might do 10 by 2 squats and jumps at the same time, or 2 squats, 1 jump, and mix it up depending on it. Again, it really depends on the athlete and the volume that they can handle. Mike's been training a lot over the last couple of years, so his ability to take the volume is a little bit higher, so he can get away with doing more weight and more reps than a normal kid. So Mike's going to do 2 reps, all right, nice and explosive and quick.
You know when you're lifting.
All right.
How did that go?
Drive. Good. Okay. So again, that's a lightweight for Mike. He's probably going to be using something much heavier. We'll transition right out to the box. You got a few seconds here. You got time. The transformation effect can last several minutes, but generally speaking, I'm going, on about 30 seconds here. Within 30 seconds, I try to get him to hit his jump. He'll hit his jump. Right. Fire it out, good, nice and explosive, and then we'll start the rest period, and that's probably depending on the athletes. Again, if we're close to season, if we're getting close, we'll do this as a 10-play drive, and we're on a 40-second clock, and the clock's rotating every 40 seconds, right? We got to get the drills in every 40 seconds, and that becomes a great kind of power endurance conditioning drill for football players that kind of mimics some of the metabolic conditioning parameters of the sport as well. If it's just for pure out speed and power, and I'm just looking for all I care about is Mike hitting his best speed squat and his best box jump, maybe we're working the box jump height up, I'll give him more rest time, and then maybe it's a 90-second to 2-minute break between rounds, and we'll keep working the height up where he's going to need as the weight goes up and the height goes up, he's going to need a little bit more nervous system recovery time in between rounds. So that's complex number 1, right? The squat to box jump, great exercise for building speed. All right, guys, so our next drill is a kettlebell sprint complex, okay? This is one of my favorites. I do this a lot. This is a great exercise to do with younger athletes and girls who maybe aren't squatting yet and up to the ability to do a bandit or chain or even a heavy weighted box squat yet. We can do with the kettlebell. And what Mike's going to do here is, the key here is the transition between the 2 movements, right? You want it to be as fast and as seamless as possible. So Mike's going to get 10 kettlebell swings, and as he's coming down on that 10th swing, he's going to let the kettlebell go and drive out into his sprint. And now what we'll do a lot of the times is we'll do 10-yard, 15-yard, 20-yard sprints. It's usually always 10 kettlebell swings and then the sprint to follow. We like to do these on a hill sometimes. I've taken the kettlebells down to the hill and hit the sprint, hit the kettlebell, and hit the hill real hard. what this does again is it overloads the nervous system from a weighted component to a non-weighted component. It's like when you see a baseball player swinging the weighted bat before they get in the batter's box. It kind of tricks the brain and tricks the nervous system into swinging that heavy bat, and then the weight is gone, and now the bat flies, right? And it's the same thing here. I'm swinging, I'm hip extending with a heavy load. He's using a 70-pound kettlebell, and then all of a sudden that weight is gone. It's like getting shot out of a cannon, all right? So let it rip, Mike. All right, good hip pop, right? You explode through your hips, drive the hips, good. You fire it out. 10, and let it last one, let it rip. Hup. Good, that's it, and then you just let it go and let it fly. So again, the conversion time between one and the other is really critical. So I wouldn't put the kettlebell down, stand around for 2 minutes, and then go. I'm trying to do this quick. I'm trying to be explosive. You can do this with a variety of exercises. We've done this with back squats. We've done this with kettlebell squats. I feel like the explosive nature of the swing is more realistic to the running action than just like if I was to just do 10 back squats with, I don't know, 200 pounds and then run. The actions are very different. Although you'd get a hell of a workout from trying that, right? You know, the original Lipinoff sprints were, you know, I think they were, he did 10 box squats, 10 front squats at 4:05 and then ran a 400-meter run sub 1 minute, you know. So do that a bunch of times, that'll kill you. That's brutal. So that's number 2, all right? I'm gonna show you my third exercise right now. All right, guys, our next exercise is our Prowler sprint complex. Right? We do this a ton. This is one of our absolute favorites. I believe there's a tremendous carryover from the weighted sled sprint, right, to an actual body weight sprint, to a full speed sprint. And it's great for working groups. You could set up 3 prowlers. You got 6 or 7 guys on each prowler. We're rotating them quick. Each guy gets a prowler circuit and then a sprint. And we just keep, you know, ratcheting them out nice and quick. And this is a great way to get a lot of guys, get a lot of bodies through good speed work. So what Mike's going to do here is he's going to do a real explosive, right, prowler high-low, right? He's going to do a 5-yard high-low. Again, that weighted component primes the nervous system, tells the nervous system that we're overloaded with weight. He's going to go to the ground, body weight, and do a get-up sprint off the ground, fire it off the ground, and start running hard. Now that weight's gone. The carryover should be that the nervous system is thinking this, the body weight's actually here right now, and then boom, again, I'm trying to increase that output, that nervous system output, and it should feel, again, it should feel like extra light, like you're getting shot out of a cannon, all right? So Mike's gonna do the 5-yard high-low, real explosive. He's gonna hit it hard, right? Gonna get around the other side, power it out, drive, lots of energy, get to the line, right? And he's gonna power it up hard. Explode, drive, come on, get out, good. So, again, one of our absolute favorites. If I'm working this into a training program, it's generally gonna be on my speed power day. So it just as a simple template, how we work it here is Monday, upper body, you know, hip extension, we do some power cleans, we do a single leg exercise, we do a lot of core training on Monday. On Tuesday, our power speed day, it's sprints, jumps, and throws like we're doing now, and I would work this in. So it might be, I might do a couple sets of med ball throws, we might do some rhythm jumps, and this might be the meat and potatoes of the day where we do 6, 7, 8, even 10 rounds of prowler complexing, okay? Wednesdays are generally our recover day. Thursday is our power upper day. We do like a upper body volume and kind of like our vanity bodybuilding / day. And then Fridays is our lower body, max effort lower. Fridays we squat, okay, and or deadlift. Okay, I'm going to show you our next exercise right now. All right, so our next exercise is the deadlift broad jump complex. I love this exercise. We do this a lot. I think the deadlift and the broad jump have a lot of carryover and similarities between the movements. You know, I'm trying to get that maximum hip drive for the deadlift, and the same thing with the broad jump. So we're gonna work that sumo deadlift that we talked about, and Mike's gonna give me 3 reps on the sumo, and then step out in front of the bar and give me 2 consecutive broad jumps. So a lot of times we'll do a 3 to 2 like this, 3 quick reps, 2 hard broad jumps, reset, rest a minute, do it again. This is a complex we use a lot here at the gym, okay? Drive through those hips, Mike, nice and explosive. Use your glutes, power up, good. 2, good. 3, good. And you'll step out in front, okay? And then set up and give me a double broad jump. 1, 2, good, that's it, good. Nice and explosive, okay? Tons of power. You can do them as singles also, right? There's no, obviously I'm just showing you with Mike. You know, Mike's definitely a higher level athlete, so sometimes we'll even do triples, right? But again, depending on the athlete and the level, you could do this with a kettlebell. You could have younger kids do a kettlebell deadlift, right? And then into a broad jump or just a standing squat jump. So there's tons of variations, but again, if you look at speed and you look at running speed and power, you have 3 major components, right? You got to get strong, you got to have power development, and you got to have explosive power, and then you got to run, right? And you got to get out and do speed drills. And you got to have the technical and mechanical aspect of that. And then, well, that's for another episode. All right, I'm going to show you my last drill right now. All right, guys, our last exercise is more of a true speed exercise, using less weight. So we do this a lot with our younger athletes, with our female athletes. And remember, I'm trying to teach kids how to be explosive, how to internalize explosiveness. And in order to be explosive, you have to think explosive. You got to tell your body to move with power and speed. So more critical than anything is making sure that the athletes are trying as hard as they can to move as fast as they can. So there's a big difference between, you know, doing a bomb throw and right, and then ripping one and throwing it as hard as you can. So that intent, that nervous system, that process of telling my body to throw the med ball as hard as I can is so important on the jumps and sprints. Okay? And that's why I think a lot of coaches are doing it wrong, because they run kids to exhaustion, and then it's impossible to get that power output. You know, so you really do need, if you want to teach kids how to be explosive and fast, you have to recover between bouts of exercise. You can't just do, you know, we're going to do an exercise right now. This is a weighted split squat jump to a mountain climber start. This is a great way for getting like quickness off the ground, right, and just getting those feet fast, okay? But if I just did 10 rounds of this with, like, you know, 30-second clock and no breaks, he's going to be exhausted, and the power output's not going to be there, and I'm not really getting any speed work out of it. That I'm just conditioning. So you have to make sure that, you know, you're getting what you want, right? If I want to condition him, I can do some of those things. But if I'm looking for him to improve his overall power output and speed, I got to make sure that he recovers between rounds. So what Mike's going to do here is, again, we'll show you the split squat that we showed you before, and he's going to do 6 split squat jumps. Right, fire them out. 2, 3, 4, power, 5, 6, good. Then he's going to go to the line, and we're going to do a mountain climber start. And the mountain climber start's good for getting off your feet, and it's going to be nice and quick. He's going to keep those hips up high. He's going to give it 3 pops, 1, 2, 3, and then get out hard. Go ahead, Mike. 1, 2, 3, and up. Good. So this is a great drill for just teaching quickness, core control, and getting out, right? On that last step, 1, 2, 3, on that last step, I want to be firing out. And what we'll do sometimes is we'll switch these drills. Let's say I'm doing 6 rounds of this. I'll start one drill with the right foot forward, and then the next drill with the left foot forward. So every time they go, they got to switch their feet. This is a great exercise for developing foot speed and quickness, especially out of the crouch position, you know, for football players, track athletes, and things like that. It's a great carryover. So those are my top 5 complexes that we like to do here in the gym. There are many, many more. From squatting and pulling sleds to, you know, flipping tires and running. Something we did a lot with Mike when he was training for the NFL was you know, flipping tires and running, you know, defensive linebacker drills and DN drills and stuff like that. So there's a variety of things. Start simple and work your way to more complex. The problem that I see in a lot of training programs, everybody wants to go from week 1 to week 20 in 2 weeks, right? And it just doesn't exist, right? It's taken Mike an entire life to train to become the athlete he has. It's taken me 25 years to train and to be able to do these drills the way I do them now. So you have to take things in stride. Start with a regular box squat with regular weight. You don't have to use bands or chains, and just work that progression up. When you could squat 315 pounds or so, or 225 for a female, start adding some chains, right? When you can get those weights back up again to another level, start adding some bands, and it's a progression over time. Start with a regular standing box jump, work your way to the seated jump, work your way to the reactive jump. It's the same thing there as well. If you're going to start with Prowler complexes, start with no weight. Mike started with a light weight for him, but that's a very heavy weight for someone who's never done it before, and your legs will be so sore the next day that you won't be able to train. So the key to being able to, you know, get better is not only working hard and taking things in step, but making sure that you recover between bouts of exercise. If my Monday workout is so hard that I can't train on Tuesday and Wednesday because of it, then I did a disservice to my athletes and myself because I just wasted 2 whole days of training, right? So you have to, balance it out between wanting to squeeze a lot into a training session and making sure that you're leaving enough in the tank for the athletes to be able to train every other day or every day or 4 days a week, in Mike's case 5 days, 6 days a week. So, and you have to make sure that you're spreading those training exercises out. I'm not going to do these exercises together in the same day. I'm not going to do a box squat, box jump, prowler, sprint complex all in one day, right? It's too much nervous system, right? You'd just be fried out after that, right? The next day you'd probably be in bed sleeping, right? And so those are some of the exercises and drills that we like here. Remember to start with strength training, number 1, right? Then get your power up, and then start working skill and technical running skill. We're going to show you in our next episode, in another episode a few weeks from now. So I hope you like what you see. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Make sure you check us out on varsityhousegym.com. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube page. And make sure you give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We'll see everybody next week. Take care.